Hi, welcome to this presentation. My name is Jovan. You're watching 0 Point Awareness, Quantum Human. In this course, I will explain enlightenment and how to reach enlightenment through 0 Point Awareness. Now, what is enlightenment? We all heard this. This word represents perhaps different meaning to every single individual. We all imagine enlightenment to be something, and we all individually might imagine it to be something different. Enlightenment simply means being one with God. Now, what is God? And how does it feel? What does it mean to be one with God? In my own experience, being enlightened or being one with God simply means becoming quantum. And I will explain this. So, in my own experience as a human being, nothing has changed since I got enlightened, except there is an awareness of quantum interconnectedness with all things. So we could say that God is everything, and through what quantum physics calls quantum entanglement, it simply means everything is connected. You, me, and everybody else is connected to all life. So, when we are enlightened, there is a stream of information that is simply available to us from within, that we can mystify and call the voice of God, or something like this, but God is not somebody. It's not a thing. It is simply all life. And so in this course, I will be teaching you how to access this quantum interconnectedness in a very simple way. At first, I might go and give you quite a few explanations to set up the understanding for the practice. The practice in itself is very simple. Already embedded in the architecture of every human is the quantum entanglement. Everything in the universe is quantum. The universe is built in this way. Now, when we are not aware of this, we might be seeking something spiritual. We might be seeking God, which is an attempt from our own being to look into the metaphysical aspect of reality, that which is not physical or rendered by our senses. Now, throughout history of human civilization, we have many schools of metaphysics or spirituality. Some of them are nowadays major religious traditions, and all of them speak of Well, Islam speaks of Allah, and Buddhism speaks of sunyata, or emptiness, which would be the quantum field, if you want. Quantum physics speaks about the quantum field. Hinduism speaks about Brahman. And all of these words we can understand to mean something. All of these words point to something. But what we are experiencing is not a thing. When we come to the experience of Brahman, when we come to experience of enlightenment, it's not a thing. So in Buddhism, this is fairly explained as nothingness or sunyata. So how are we looking for something that has no shape, form, and it's not a thing? And we have to get that in order to reach this state of enlightenment. Well, I want to give you an analogy. You are watching this program on a screen. And on the screen you have pixels. And now you see my face, my talking head, show up on the surface on the screen. And also, inside of the screen, you can see that there is depth, and that there is width, and there is height, so there are dimensions in the screen. Now imagine turning the screen off. Immediately this video would stop playing, and you would have nothing but an empty screen. It would be black. This black screen is without depth. You can say still it has a dimension of width and height, but there's nothing showing up on the screen. Still, there is an observer. This is awareness, you looking at the screen. So the screen becomes empty of content. Now when the screen is empty of content, you can open a different application on the screen and you will see a different image. So instead of seeing me, you can see whatever you choose to see. A different content becomes visible on the screen. So enlightenment is something like finding the screen of reality, where there is only consciousness, not immersed into experience of shape, form, and dimension. Once you touch base with the screen, this screen is the same screen on which every life, every human, every plant, every animal, every tree, every planet, every sun, every star appears. All the universe appears in the screen. So what we are looking is not inside of the screen. It is the screen itself and the awareness that is observing the screen. Now, it is a little bit counterintuitive, it is a little bit crazy to look for nothing. Still, many spiritual traditions will tell you, listen to the silence. Because if you focus awareness on the empty, on the silent, out of this silence, through quantum entanglement, the whole universe starts to speak to you. So simply, we meditate sometimes, and you don't have to meditate to do this, but we meditate sometimes to simply focus not on what is in front of us in this reality, and understanding that also our human is inside of the screen. It still has dimension, thoughts, emotions. Our whole evolution is happening within the construct of the screen. We need to take a step back. We need to go outside of our current experience to experience what quantum physics calls the 0 point. The 0 point has no dimension. It is simply a point. So point has no depth, no height, no width, and so there is no form appearing. There is just a point. This point is consciousness. This same consciousness is projecting its awareness and becoming immersed with the screen, immersed with your head, immersed with your thoughts, immersed with your feelings. And so we are identified with our being, with it. The being has faculties like emotion, body, thoughts, and always, except when we are sleeping, we are interpreting what is happening in the screen, in the depth of this reality. Now, my methodology is not meditation. My methodology is not telling you stories about God like religions do, or telling you stories of how to behave and how to not behave like religions do. My methodology is simply showing you a type of game that you can play to discover nothing. And discover that in the nothing you are consciousness that is still there, and that you are then this that we also call God or Brahman, that you are this one consciousness that projected its awareness into every single human and every single other being, whether that is an ant or a snail or a fish. So, how to do this? First, I'm going to explain it. I'm going to explain the game. It is a game of investigation, a game of self-inquiry that leads to self-realization. This game is very simple. For some people, this game might be even easy, and they might just figure it out immediately. And for everyone, for the sake of everyone who's going to play this game with me, I'm going to give you some context. So, let's imagine that there is a point. Let's say it's here. And this point emanates this reality. So let's say there's a point here that is a projector that emanates this whole reality. My room and the infinite universe and the human that is inside of the room is emanated and observed from this point. This would be what we're looking for. Now let's just imagine this point is right here. So because this point is experiencing its projected awareness and also what it created in this space, that is this human, these objects. Now I am a human inside of this reality. I identify myself as human. Even when I am enlightened, most of the time I'm simply having a human experience. Very normal human experience. Except I can talk to this point. Actually, I can become this point, and in my experience, through practicing this, when I become this point, everything else disappears. My body, my room, this whole reality, even the depth of space and the width of space, they disappear, they dissolve. And I just become this point. You don't need to become this point and have everything disappear, because it's kind of weird, it's kind of scary. You simply need to find a point and kind of anchor into this point so you can communicate with it, because it is you. Everything is one, everything is quantum, everything is one organism, one organization, and it's quantumly interconnected. So when you hook in to the point, it's like having Google. You can ask any question, the answer comes not on your phone, it comes into your brain. Okay. There are many other things that can change for you. Life might become a little bit different when you start interacting with this point. Now, for the sake of this explanation, let's imagine this point is here. This point actually is not located in space, because it is outside of space. It does not have a location. We would call this absolute location. So the point is actually in absolute place. Everything else that is created in space-time is relative to this point. Now my human is somewhere in the relative space and time. And my awareness is observing my hands move, and I'm seeing the objects, and I'm hearing my voice, and I'm thinking and speaking at the same time. So I am immersed into my everyday human experience right now. What I want to do, and what I will guide you to do with this exercise, is to imagine this point first being somewhere, anywhere. And then look back, instead of looking in front into your human experience, look into that point. Kind of shifting your observer, closing your eyes, shifting your observer to that point that we imagine. And then simply imagine going inside of the point. So this is the whole methodology. It sounds very simple, and there will be some additional steps. Now let me explain. And I have to do a whole lot of explanation and give you some disclaimers and warnings before we are understanding what we are doing, and we are becoming aware and informed of also things that might occur when we do this. It sounds simple, it is simple, but it is quite a change. Because also imagine that this point, once you enter it, it's creating the whole universe. So it is extremely powerful. It is extremely powerful. Also, it is connected to the whole universe. So through that point, you can get wisdom and energy. You can get actual energy into your cells, into your atoms, into your molecules, and into your cells that can nourish your body. And you can get wisdom that is not just intellectual wisdom, like God speaking to you, let's call it like this. But you can also get wisdom penetrating your emotions, your subconscious. You can experience many different activations inside of your being that will evolve you. Still, you will be human. But slightly different. Quantum human. You might experience time-space experience of reality becoming non-linear. We call this synchronicities or manifestation, where your mind influences reality. And the more you understand yourself as a zero-point consciousness that is also projected and immersed into this human experience, in other words, you're becoming one with God, reality will change for you. So, again, methodology goes like this. We imagine a point, then we imagine that we are going inside of this point, and we are entering through the point. So this will only happen in our imagination, that we actually went through that point. Still, this is enough, because we are using our awareness to go inside of that point. Now the awareness will be partly in the point, and part of your awareness will be here with your body. And then you're going to start to ask questions that you're not asking your intellect, but you're asking this quantum intelligence that's connected to everything. So you're asking questions from your brain into the point, and the point gives answers back to your brain. And you will see that now you have access to infinite information. And some of this information is going to be so different than what your brain is or has been wired to conduct, that if you ask for some information, it will take your brain some time to develop new neural pathways so you can decode that information. And some information is going to come easy for you. Now, there are different individuals. And out there, some of you, it's very easy for you to visualize. You think in pictures or colors. Some of you may find it very easy to actually hear a voice. Like imagine a voice speaking inside of your brain and actually hear that voice with your inner hearing, your mental hearing. For some of you, you're very logical and you feel like interpreting information that is made from words and sentences. So when you start to interpret the information from 0 point, it may be easier for some of you to write it down. For others, it might be easier to visualize it. And for some of you, it might be simply imagine a voice talking back to you and you start hearing things that were out of your ordinary reality. Okay, so I hope I got you warmed up. And I feel I have to give a few more notes on the concept of enlightenment because it's a word, simply. It's a word. And for some people, this word has been programmed to mean the end of the journey. You came here to experience yourself becoming human, only to become enlightened. And for some people, enlightenment means having all of your chakras open. And for some people, it may mean that you are going into heaven, or you're bringing heaven down into earth and you're experiencing heaven all the time. Now, there is no actual dictionary that is going to be the judge of what we consider enlightenment, because we can ascribe whatever meaning we want to words. This is how words work. So I'm simply going to say that experiencing 0 point consciousness is the goal of many spiritual traditions. It is not the end goal. It is a part of your evolution. Now, when you start experiencing yourself being human together with 0 point consciousness, there will be still infinite games to play and infinite ways to evolve. You will just be interconnected with all things and aware of that. And so you can expand infinite information, infinite energy through your own being into this game of life. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next chapter. Bye.